As part of the announcement, Patan released a video in which he can be seen gliding around a forest and through a valley on his newest creation, which he claims to be a breakthrough in personal air mobility. Unlike the Jetson one, the Volonaut Airbike does not include a frame cage. Additionally, the Airbike sits forward while the Jetson has more of a lounge seating position.
Something extraordinary is taking shape in the world of transportation, a machine that can soar above traffic, glide like a bird, and redefine what it means to travel. Meet the Volonaut Airbike, an invention that blends the freedom of flight with the practicality of a bicycle. It's not science fiction, it's real, and it's here to change the world. In this documentary, we'll dive into how the Volonaut Airbike was born, how it's built, and how it promises to transform everyday life. We'll meet the engineers and visionaries behind it, see how it's challenging the status quo, and imagine the future it's unlocking. From the first sketches to the first test flight, we'll uncover the story of a machine that's as poetic as it is powerful.
A tech startup in Japan wants to make this bike happen. It was created by a drone company that's employing some of the same technology it uses for its smaller flying devices.
But what makes the Airbike so different? How did a simple idea, turning an ordinary bike into a flying machine, become a symbol of innovation? And how might this invention reshape our cities, our environment, and the way we connect? Buckle up. We're about to take off on a journey that shows how one idea can lift us to new heights. The dream takes flight. The story of the Volonaut Airbike began with a dream, one that had been floating in the minds of inventors and visionaries for generations. Humans have always looked up at the sky, wondering how to break free from the limits of roads and rails. For decades, personal flight seemed like a fantasy, stuck in the pages of science fiction novels. But a group of bold engineers refused to accept that. In a small workshop on the edge of a bustling city, they asked a simple question: what if a bike could fly? They weren't interested in building something that only the rich could afford. They wanted to create a practical, everyday tool for real people. A flying machine that wouldn't need an airport or a runway, just an open mind and a sense of adventure. Their inspiration came from a blend of past and future. They studied the earliest airplanes, the Wright brothers' gliders, and even birds in flight. But they also looked at the challenges of modern cities: traffic jams, pollution, lost hours stuck on the ground. The Volonaut Airbike was designed to rise above those problems. Early tests were shaky, frames bent, engines sputtered, but the team never lost sight of the dream. They knew that each failure was a step closer to a breakthrough, and in 2024, that breakthrough finally came. Engineering the impossible. Turning a bike into an aircraft wasn't just a bold idea, it was an engineering puzzle. The team behind the Volonaut Airbike faced the challenge of balancing weight, power, and safety in a way no one had done before. They started with the basics: an ultralight carbon fiber frame that could handle both the road and the air. The Airbike's core design had to be light enough to lift off, yet strong enough to withstand the rigors of flight. Every curve, every bolt, every inch of the Airbike was designed with aerodynamic precision. Then came the propulsion system. Instead of relying on traditional gas engines, the engineers chose a revolutionary hybrid electric system. Quiet, clean, and efficient, this system allows the Airbike to glide through the sky without the roar of jets or the choking fumes of gasoline. A set of compact rotors inspired by drone technology provides lift and stability, giving the Airbike its unique hovering capability. But even the best designs faced setbacks. There were moments of doubt, tests that failed, funding that fell through. Yet, the team pushed on, driven by the belief that if they could solve this puzzle, they could change the world. How the Airbike works. At first glance, the Volonaut Airbike looks like something out of a science fiction film, but behind its sleek, futuristic frame lies a symphony of engineering that makes personal flight possible. The Airbike's secret lies in its dual-mode operation. On the ground, it rides like a regular bicycle with smooth, electric-assisted pedaling. But when you're ready to take to the sky, the Airbike's flight mode activates. Small but powerful rotors extend from the sides, and with a gentle push on the controls, the airbike lifts off the ground and hovers. Flying the airbike doesn't require a pilot's license, just a few hours of training. The onboard computer handles much of the balancing and navigation, allowing the rider to focus on the journey ahead. Using intuitive controls, the rider can adjust altitude and direction, weaving through the air like a cyclist weaving through city streets. Safety is always the top priority. A suite of sensors constantly monitors airspeed, altitude, and weather conditions. In emergencies, an auto landing system kicks in, bringing the airbike back to solid ground. It's the perfect blend of freedom and control, giving everyday people the power of flight without the fear. Materials and design choices. The Volonaut Airbike's design is a masterclass in innovation, drawing inspiration from nature and aerospace engineering. Every part was chosen with one goal in mind: to make flight safe, efficient, and accessible. The main frame is crafted from ultra-lightweight carbon fiber, a material that's as strong as steel, but weighs a fraction of it. This keeps the airbike agile in the air without sacrificing durability. The rotors use advanced composite blades shaped like a bird's wing to generate maximum lift with minimal noise. Inside, the batteries are built with the latest in solid-state technology. Unlike traditional lithium-ion batteries, these cells are safer and charge faster. They provide enough power for a 40-minute flight, enough to cross an entire city or escape a traffic jam in seconds. Even the handlebars and seat are carefully designed for comfort and ergonomics, ensuring the airbike isn't just a marvel of technology, it's also a pleasure to ride. Every element, from the seat cushioning to the vibration-dampening grips, shows the team's dedication to making the impossible not only possible, but comfortable. The first flight, a moment of history. Every great invention has a moment when it leaps from idea to reality. For the Volonaut Airbike, that moment came on a crisp spring morning in 2024. The prototype was ready, sleek, silent, and poised for its maiden flight. The pilot was a young engineer, chosen not for fame or rank, but because he believed in the airbike's promise. As he climbed onto the seat, the team held their breath. Years of work, late nights, and endless testing had led to this. With a gentle push on the controls, the rotors began to spin. A low hum filled the air, and then liftoff. The airbike rose a few feet, steady and sure. Cheers erupted as the pilot hovered over the test field, weaving back and forth, his face lit with wonder. It wasn't a long flight, just a few minutes, but it was enough to prove that dreams could fly. That first flight wasn't just a technical milestone, it was a symbol of hope. It showed that the boundaries of the possible had shifted. And it proved that the airbike wasn't just a machine, it was a promise of a new kind of freedom. Safety and challenges. As thrilling as the Volonaut Airbike's promise of flight may be, safety was always at the heart of its creation. Engineers understood that no one would trust a flying bicycle if it wasn't as safe as it was exciting. From the earliest design stages, the airbike was built to meet the toughest aviation standards. Each rotor blade underwent hundreds of hours of wind tunnel testing. Each carbon fiber strut was stress-tested to ensure it wouldn't buckle under strain. The result? A machine that's not just light, it's resilient, ready to handle turbulence and unexpected weather. But beyond mechanical challenges, there were human concerns too. Could people without flight training handle an airbike? That's where the automated control system comes in. Using sophisticated sensors and AI, the airbike can automatically stabilize in flight, adjusting to wind gusts and ensuring a smooth ride. If a rider gets nervous, the autopilot can safely guide the airbike back to the ground. Still, no new technology comes without challenges. Regulatory hurdles, noise concerns, and the skepticism of traditional pilots. These remain real obstacles. But with every test flight and every improvement, the team behind the Volonaut Airbike is proving that the dream of safe, personal flight is no longer just a fantasy, it's becoming a fact. environmental impact, and clean energy. In a world where climate change is shaping every conversation, the Volonaut Airbike isn't just a marvel of design, it's a commitment to sustainability. Traditional aviation has a heavy carbon footprint, but the Airbike's electric powertrain is a game changer. Instead of guzzling fossil fuels, the Airbike runs on a hybrid system that can be charged using renewable energy. Solar panels, wind power, and even smart grids can feed the Airbike's advanced batteries, making every flight cleaner and greener. Even in flight, the Airbike's noise footprint is a whisper compared to helicopters or small planes. It's designed to minimize disturbance, making it ideal for urban areas and rural retreats alike. Environmentalists see the Airbike as more than a fun gadget. It's a symbol of what's possible when innovation and ecology come together. It's a chance to rethink transportation in a way that respects the planet. Critics worry about the energy demands of widespread airbike use, but the team behind it believes those challenges can be solved with smart grids and better batteries. For now, the Volonaut Airbike stands as a reminder that progress doesn't have to come at the planet's expense. It can lift us higher while leaving a lighter footprint. Urban air mobility, cities in the sky. Imagine a city where your daily commute involves more sky than street, where traffic jams are a relic of the past. That's the future the Volonaut Airbike promises. Urban air mobility, or UAM, is a new frontier, and the Airbike is perfectly suited for it. In cities choked by traffic, the Airbike offers a new layer of travel, one that uses the empty air above us. No more waiting in endless lines of cars or missing family dinners because of rush hour snarl-ups. Early studies suggest that if even a fraction of commuters switch to airbikes, cities could see significant reductions in congestion and pollution. Emergency responders could reach people faster, businesses could connect more easily, and citizens could reclaim hours lost in traffic. Of course, city skies are crowded with other challenges: drone deliveries, air taxis, and more. That's why the Airbike's designers worked closely with urban planners and aviation regulators. The goal is a future where everyone, from solo commuters to emergency responders, can safely share the skies. It's not just about getting from A to B faster, it's about reclaiming the beauty of the city from above. And in that future, the Airbike is leading the way. Accessibility and cost, making flight for everyone. For most of history, flying was a luxury, but the creators of the Volonaut Airbike wanted to change that. From day one, their mission was clear: to make the sky accessible to everyone, not just the privileged few. The Airbike's construction uses modular parts and efficient materials to keep costs down. While early prototypes were expensive, mass production and breakthroughs in battery tech are bringing prices within reach of many commuters. Leasing options and flight-sharing programs are already in discussion, making it possible for more people to experience the magic of flight. Accessibility doesn't stop at cost. The Airbike's controls are designed to be intuitive. No need for years of flight school. Riders can learn in just a few sessions, with built-in safety features taking the fear out of the first flight. Still, challenges remain. Air traffic control systems need to evolve to handle thousands of small aircraft, and insurance and maintenance costs will need to be managed. But the core promise of the Airbike is clear: flight for the many, not the few. It's not about making luxury toys. It's about reshaping how we move, together. Global impact beyond the city. The Airbike's promise goes beyond crowded city streets. In rural areas, where infrastructure is thin and roads are few, the Airbike could be a lifeline. Farmers could use it to check crops and livestock quickly. Remote medical teams could reach isolated villages in minutes, not hours. Small communities cut off by floods or storms could find new ways to connect. In developing nations, where building new roads is slow and costly, the Airbike could offer a leapfrog solution, letting people and goods soar above obstacles. It's a new kind of infrastructure, built on air and ingenuity. Already, humanitarian groups are exploring how airbikes could deliver medical supplies to disaster zones. From the Amazon rainforest to the African savanna, the airbike's impact could be global. Of course, Adapting to local conditions, weather, power availability, terrain, will take time, but the potential is vast. In places where the ground is impassable, the sky might finally become the best road. A cultural shift, redefining flight. The Volonaut Airbike isn't just an invention, it's a symbol of change. For over a century, flight has been reserved for pilots and planes, controlled by towers and runways. But the Airbike is rewriting that story. It's bringing flight down to earth, literally, by putting it in the hands of everyday people. That's a cultural shift as big as the invention of the car or the smartphone. And it's sparking debates about what it means to be free, to travel, and to connect. Artists and filmmakers are already imagining new kinds of cityscapes, skies alive with airbikes. Commuters are dreaming of trading gridlock for open air. And children, seeing the airbike hover above them, are starting to imagine futures where the sky is no longer out of reach. But change always brings questions. Who owns the skies? How do we balance freedom with responsibility? The airbike is forcing us to think bigger, not just about technology, but about the values we want to build into this new era of flight. The inventors, passion and persistence. Behind every revolutionary invention are people who refuse to let the impossible stop them. The Volonaut Airbike was born from that stubborn spirit. The lead engineer, a former aerospace technician, left a secure job to chase a vision. His team included a software wizard who wrote code for drone stabilization, and a materials expert who experimented with carbon composites in his garage. They weren't backed by big corporations at first, just their own savings and endless determination. Their workshop was a place of late nights and early mornings, of failed tests and sudden breakthroughs. For years, they faced skepticism, critics who said the skies were too crowded or that personal flight was just a toy for billionaires. But they kept going. Today, they're not just engineers, they're dreamers who made the airbike real. Their story is a reminder that innovation doesn't come from boardrooms or billion-dollar budgets. It comes from people with the courage to say, why not? Future visions, next-gen airbike. The airbike we see today is just the beginning. Already, the next generation of prototypes is on the drawing board. Engineers are working on longer-range batteries, smarter autopilot systems, and designs that can carry more than just one person. Some dream of cargo-carrying airbikes for small businesses. Others imagine airbike ambulances racing to help in emergencies. In big cities, fleets of airbikes could work alongside drones and air taxis, creating a true sky layer of transportation.
World to offer a ride in a flying taxi. That's according to the CEO of Skyports, who says a full service will be operational by 2026.
And the technology is evolving fast. Advances in AI, battery chemistry, and materials science are pushing the limits further every year. The airbike's creators see a future where flying bikes are as common as cars and just as essential. It's a future that's closer than we think, and it's powered by the same bold idea that started it all, that the sky should belong to everyone. Pioneering partnerships, building the airbike's ecosystem. The rise of the Volonaut Airbike isn't just a story of engineering, it's a story of collaboration. From the earliest test flights, the Airbike team has been working with cities, universities, and tech startups to make sure their vision becomes reality. Urban planners are exploring how rooftop launch pads and sky lanes could fit into city life. Universities are offering courses in aerial navigation, preparing a new generation of pilots and engineers. And green energy startups are developing solar charging stations that could keep airbike batteries topped up, wherever adventure takes them. This web of partnerships shows that the airbike isn't a lone invention. It's the spark for a whole new industry that's just taking off. Changing the conversation. Flight as a right, not a privilege. For decades, flight was seen as something reserved for the rich or the powerful. But the airbike is challenging that mindset, turning flight into a tool for everyone. In communities around the world, people are asking new questions. Why shouldn't personal flight be as common as driving? What if your commute could be an adventure, not a chore? The airbike is more than a vehicle. It's a shift in how we think about our rights to move and explore. By opening the skies to the masses, it's changing what we expect from technology and transportation. A new generation of flyers, skills for the air age. As the airbike becomes more common, it's also inspiring a wave of new skills. Schools and training programs are popping up, teaching people not just how to fly, but how to maintain and even design flying bikes. Kids who once dreamed of being astronauts or pilots now see the airbike as a real, reachable goal. They're learning about aerodynamics, battery technology, and even ethics, how to share the sky safely and respectfully. In classrooms and workshops, the airbike is turning flight from a distant fantasy into a hands-on reality, giving young dreamers a way to build their future in the sky. Beyond imagination, what comes next? The airbike's journey is far from over. The team behind it is already dreaming bigger, imagining models that can carry families, autonomous versions that can deliver groceries, and even airbikes that can fold up and fit into a backpack. They're talking about AI co-pilots, zero-gravity stunts, and sky tours that let people see their cities like never before. These aren't just wild ideas. They're the next steps in a future that's closer than we think. Because when we let ourselves dream of flying, we discover that the only real limit is our imagination. Connecting communities, a sky without borders. The Volonaut Airbike isn't just about personal travel. It's about connecting communities in ways that were never possible before. In mountain villages where roads are washed away by landslides, or island communities where ferries are the only link to the outside world, the airbike promises a new kind of connection. It can bring medicine and supplies, link farmers to markets, and open up education and jobs that once seemed out of reach. In a world where distance still divides, the airbike is proving that the sky can become a bridge instead of a barrier. The power of tinkering, how hobbyists push boundaries. While big engineering firms refine the airbike's core systems, a growing group of hobbyists and tinkerers is helping to expand what's possible. In garages and backyard workshops, these enthusiasts are customizing airbikes for longer range, adding solar panels, and experimenting with software hacks. It's a grassroots movement echoing the early days of aviation, when barnstormers and backyard inventors pushed the limits of what flight could be. Their creativity and curiosity are turning the airbike into not just a product, but a platform for endless innovation. A blueprint for future inventions. The airbike's story isn't just about flight. It's about the spirit of invention itself. It shows that real change starts with asking, why not? And being willing to fail again and again until the answer appears. This mindset is already spreading beyond aviation. Architects are sketching sky bridges that only airbikes can reach. Green tech firms are studying the airbike's batteries to power other devices. In every field, the airbike is inspiring people to think differently about how we move, how we live, and what's possible when we let our dreams take wing. The sky belongs to everyone. At the end of the day, the Volonaut Airbike is more than a machine. It's a reminder that the sky belongs to everyone. For centuries, flight was a privilege of the few, a dream locked behind wealth and technology. Now, the airbike is changing that. It's a symbol of hope, of a world where freedom of movement is a right, not a luxury. It's a chance to rise above the traffic and the noise and see the world from a new perspective, one where the horizon is always within reach. The Volonaut Airbike is more than an invention. It's a glimpse of the world that could be. A world where flight isn't a luxury, but a new way to connect and care for our planet. In a time of climate crisis and urban gridlock, the airbike is a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. It's a symbol of hope, of what can happen when engineers, dreamers, and everyday people dare to imagine a different future. Its legacy will be more than its carbon fiber frame or electric rotors. It will be in the stories of commuters who fly over traffic instead of sitting in it, in the lives saved by medics who reach the unreachable, in the dreams of children who look up and see that the sky is no longer closed to them. As we stand at the dawn of a new age of flight, one thing is clear. The Volonaut Airbike has already changed the world. The only question now is, where will it take us next? What do you think about the Volonaut Airbike's promise? Could it change your life? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of innovation that just might change everything.